Oh yeah, you definitely don't believe it. It was like, no, like it's just gonna be like a really, really bad case of anemia. And I kind of thought, I was like, is there any chance it's not cancer? He's like, probably not, but like, and so it was a little scary. But I also had this weird feeling because I had been running so poorly and competing so poorly in cross country and track for so long, and that had been such a big part of my identity and who I was. And so, in a weird way, I was almost relieved to know that there actually was something wrong with me, and I wasn't just a really bad runner anymore. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, there is something wrong with me. But then I was like, oh wait, it's something that's life-threatening. So I was diagnosed just after my 22nd birthday. I turned 22 in August and had been feeling just a little off. I was tired. That's the main thing. I was really tired, and my feet had swollen up. And then September 11th of 2015, I was diagnosed. I was in the hospital that night, started chemotherapy the next morning. I underwent treatment for a week straight, 3 times a day in September. They hit me with chemotherapy and they just injected me with very high doses of chemotherapy because I was still considered young enough to handle the high doses and I would respond well. So they did that for a week. And then after a week, there was 3 weeks of resting and recovering from that chemotherapy and seeing how your body reacted. And then after a month, after those 4 weeks of the 1 week of treatment and the 3 weeks of recovery, then they'll test your blood again and see how you're doing. And after those 4 weeks, they tested me again and they said, we only got 90% of it. There's still 10% back, and it's dormant for now, but it's going to come back really soon. So we need to hit it hard and get all the rest of it. So after that first month in early October, I started a higher dosage and more intense chemotherapy. They did that again for a week, and then we waited 3 weeks, and I was really tired and sluggish after that. That's when I was really starting to feel the effects of the chemotherapy. The first time around, the first dosage, I was like, okay, like I actually didn't feel it that bad. I lost my hair and all that stuff, but I wasn't feeling too bad. I never threw up. I didn't have any nausea, and I was like, oh, this is bad. Like everyone described chemotherapy as so rough, but I was okay. The second round was a little tougher. It hit me hard. So after 4 weeks, they got back and were like, all right, there's almost no leukemia left. We can move on to, it's like decision time. Like we can either do these low doses of chemotherapy for the rest of your life or do a bone marrow transplant, which if it works, there's a high rate of quote unquote curing it. Like you may never have leukemia again, but it's also very risky because you can die. There's a much greater chance of death. I opted for the bone marrow transplant because I had a donor which was my sister, and she donated some cells to me, and then I went to a specialized cancer hospital up in Los Angeles and started the highest dosage of chemotherapy and radiation that you can do, and I did that for a week, and that completely knocked me out. I was nearly brain dead for 2 months, and I actually lost all my memory from that because the chemotherapy was so strong. So I did that, but I didn't get out of the hospital until January. It was just me and my mom, and the doctor came in, and he had to skip to a step, and I can remember, I don't know. It's one of the few memories I still have from that time, but I just remember feeling overwhelmed, but also just kind of nervous and in disbelief, and I felt like I had the rest of my life ahead of me again. I remember thinking like, all right, like you're cancer-free, you have the rest of your life now, there is always a chance it'll come back, but you can't live like that. You can't live scared. You got to live life to the fullest because clearly life is short and anything can happen. So I don't live impeded in any way. I just kind of go and try not to think about it.